Welcome to listening to Canberra Voices, produced at the University of Canberra, Faculty of Art and Design. We are your hosts, Chris,
Anastasia,
and Jaheedah.
Our topic for today is gender inequality in sport and how women can break through and we can achieve equality. We're very fortunate to have the Super W and Defence Australia rugby player Lydia Kavoa in the studio with us today. Lydia has a successful career in the Australian Navy and is playing her first season with the Brumbies Super W team.
Lydia played her debut game in Fiji, part of the first Brumbies team to ever play there, men's or women's. Hi, how you going?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So, how was your experience playing with the Brumbies so far?
Yeah, it's been good so far. First year playing within a high performance unit and playing at a semi-professional level. So for me, it's personally been a learning season for me. Playing in a position where I've never played before at 7 open side flank. I'm just trying to learn the ropes, but at the same time, just trying not to be too hard on myself as well. Yeah, just trying to get it done. But the season's been going well. A few tough losses first couple weeks. Came across our first W last week and just trying to keep that momentum going to bring home the W this Saturday against Western Force in Perth.
So when did you first play rugby union?
So the first time I actually had a crack at rugby union was in 2016. I played 3 games and then after that I took a break. Was concentrating my career until 2019. I had the opportunity to come ashore and stop working off Navy ships as well. So it was a time for me to learn how to play. And so I started my first year of rugby in 2019 for Eastern Suburbs in Sydney.
Did it become a dream immediately or did it take some time?
Within the first 3 games in 2016, I kind of had a feeling, I kind of knew then and told myself far out, I'm actually did all right here. I think I'm okay. I think I'm all right at this sport. I might try and have a crack. But yeah, it was definitely within the first 3 games.
So we saw an article on the Australian Government Defence website that you used to play soccer and you grew up in a household where soccer was basically very significant. So what made you shift from soccer to rugby?
Yeah, that is true. I am originally a soccer player and people actually used to still do laugh when I do tell them that I was a soccer player. What made me shift was joining the Navy in 2014. People just automatically just assumed I played rugby. So I had a lot of people coming up to me going, "Oh, you're a rugby player." And I was like, well, that's a stereotype because, yeah, I'm Islander, but doesn't mean I'm a rugby player. Anyways, yeah, I joined the Navy and it was just a lot of Navy rugby girls approaching me and saying, come have a run. And then I was like, oh, all right, I'll give it a crack. And so, yeah, that was a shift, joining the Navy.
Wow.
I know, interesting.
In a historically male-dominated sport, what are some challenges that you or others face playing rugby union as a woman?
Yeah, there's quite a few challenges. As we spoke about earlier, just the whole discussion of finally being able to be paid. I'm a first year playing at this level, so I'm grateful to be paid this season. But there are a lot of other girls within the squad that have been second, third, fourth year playing at this level and they've only just gotten a payment. So payments, that was a massive one. But now, we're getting there. We've come a long way, but we still have a very long way to go.
How do you think we can support women to strive forward even when faced with issues like pay or sexist comments?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One way is just basically trying to support us. Trying to support us as in little things coming to our games. It's good to see just some people who I don't know personally or in a close relationship come to games and stuff to just support us. That's always a good thing. Also a lot of social media platforms that are out there that support women in sport as well. like even sharing their input, like that's a huge one. Female Athletic Project, they're basically there for women in sport, and some of the things they put up and like the stats that we see, like it's ridiculous. So I'm sure everyone now, my team, like follows them and like always shares their stuff. But yeah, that's one way or a couple.
Yeah, very good ways, you know, just supporting on social media and everything, and just any way that we can.
Yeah, that's it.
Make it to games when possible, all of that, it makes a difference, hey?
Yeah, 100%. It really does. It really does. And we love to see it as well, especially seeing like a lot of people at our games. That's pretty empowering for us.
When you started your rugby union career, were your family very supportive in that?
Yeah, they were really supportive. They weren't, because it was just like, you know, club kind of rugby. So it was like, yeah, how'd you go? Like, did you play well? Did you win? Yeah, they were just pretty like, you know, any other family would be. It's really good playing at this level because, you know, for them to like really, really back me in, you know, playing for Super W, it's pretty like, it's very emotional, you know, because coming from a family where like my dad was really against like me playing sport when I was younger, it's crazy to see like how much he like supports me now. Yeah, so it was hard for me when I was younger playing sport, but to see like how much he supports me now, especially him, yeah, it like makes me like makes me just want to play harder, you know.
What about the Navy? Did they support your decision to join the Super W?
Yeah, the Navy, I'm really, really fortunate to be part of an organisation that's so supportive of me playing at this level. And for them, it's a female playing at this level, so they're all for it. If you do represent in a sport at a national, international level within the Australian Defence Force, you can apply for an elite athlete program status. And what that essentially means is that if that gets approved, anything to do with rugby for myself during working hours, I'm fully covered, you know, no leave comes out of my balance, and I'm classed as on duty, so I'm still getting paid, you know, so they love to see it. And for rugby, especially within the ADF, like it's pretty huge. So yeah, when I made the squad, like my mailbox was just going crazy with all these like high-ranking officers that I don't know, but they were just emailing me congratulations, and I was just like, wow, thanks team.
What does that support mean for you?
It means like a lot for me, and it means like essentially me wanting to stay in the Australian Defence Force and like continue on with my career. Retention's huge at the moment within the ADF, so they need to keep me happy so I can keep them happy, essentially. And so yeah, that means for me that I'm going to stay in, and I'm just going to play rugby, get this out of my system, and then I'm going to essentially do what I have to do and go back to sea as a sailor.
That's amazing to see that you're actually being supported by your workplace, and it's just, it would make all the difference, really.
Yeah, 100% it does.
What are the factors that you think of when you think of inequality in sport?
I personally think of pay and how you treated, how the sport in general has maybe advertised you.
The rugby women's team, it was established in 2018. They only got their first paycheck end of last year. So that is 4 seasons. These people have been professional athletes. Where's the paycheck?
The federal government has invested $2 million in Women's Rugby Australia. How does this influence equality in the game?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's so good to see that they're finally putting money into the female program for rugby, and that essentially does mean that we finally get paid this season. But it's a lot of money as well, and I just hope that they keep putting it into the women's program correctly and in the right places, just so we can grow as females who want to play this amazing sport, which we absolutely love. That's basically what we want, and so hopefully they get around to doing that.
What do you think needs to change in like the next generation? Do you think we need more like women's social leagues for adults, or what do you think would be a good next step aside from funding?
I think rugby need to have a few good social leads there, and I just think that they should probably try and let us play more rounds within the Super W, because it's a very short season. You know, we only verse each other once, and we train from like November for a five round competition. 5 game competition. But also just with like advertisement as well. You know, they could probably push a bit more harder there. But all these things, like the more rounds and the more advertisement, like it leads back to funding.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So hypothetically, if there was an organisation who was aware of like sexist comments being pushed around to all the players, what steps do you think that the organisation should take to address the issue for the benefit for future players?
Would this comment be just like a random person?
Oh, just like a random like person, just like a hypothetical. If someone were in a different organisation in that situation.
Yeah, well, I'd hope that our organisation, like rugby organisation, would definitely would do something about it, like it. And that could be in any way, but it also depends like who is it from, or like is it like from some random, like that wouldn't really matter if it was from some random, but if it was from someone of a higher status.
Yeah, like within the organisation.
The organisation, yeah. I have seen and I have heard that, like, you know, things like this have happened before, and Rugby AU have taken matters into their own hands and done something about it. But yeah, it definitely has happened before, and it was good to see that Rugby AU did do something about it. Yeah.
That's really important. It's definitely up to, you know, all of those organisations to actually put a foot down, you know, not only to support the players but future players as well, and the young people that may have been witness need to know that that's not an okay thing to happen.
Yeah, 100%. It was very reassuring, I think, for a lot of people to see that there were repercussions of, the action, like the words that were said.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad that we actually have to do that to be recognised, to go through all these measures and actually be viewed as the same, or even similar in qualities. It makes you think about the society we live in. Women still have to show that they are equal. They even still fighting for this.
Yeah, those comments are pretty common, but it's through representation and teaching the next generation that no, they can do it, and they can do it well. I think then it'll be more leaning towards equality in sport. What would you say to young girls who are dreaming of a career in rugby?
I would say that things will never happen overnight, and if you really do want to pursue a career in rugby, or if you really want to give it a hot crack, like, just keep pushing for it, because your stars will align. The universe will work in its special way for this to happen for you. You just got to make sure that you're doing everything you can on your end for this to happen, because it's not going to happen overnight, and it definitely won't be easy. Yeah, I could honestly say, like, firsthand, like, being someone who's like punching 30 at the end of the year, like, my stuff. I know, right? I play rugby with like a whole bunch of 21-year-olds, and they're like, you're old. And I'm like, oh, am I? You're not coming to my 30th. And they're like, no. But still, like, yeah, as for me, like I'm a late bloomer in the sport, and that's what I've said to like a lot of the younger ones where, you know, if it's kind of not going the way they want it to go, or it's not kind of happening for them, and I just literally say to them, just keep pushing. Like you got this. Like look at me. Like I'm nearly 30, and I'm just having a crack now. Right? If I can do it now, you're only 21. Right? So just keep going. But yeah, that's what I would say. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. Just keep pushing.
It's an awesome message as well, that you don't have to start a sport as a kid to be able to play it and love it. You can start as an adult and be really good at it too.
100%. It's, yeah, a lot of these like young ones are like, yeah, the talent that's absolutely just coming through, and like within rugby at the moment for females, like I will give it up to them, because like there are more programs around for these young ones to filter through into the Super W, so that's always good to see.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming into the studio with us today. We really appreciate your input.
All good. Thank you so much for having me. No, anytime. Thank you. All good.
My family is very into rugby because my grandfather used to play professional rugby. So for me to find out that there was actually a women's Brumbies team, it was a shock to me. I didn't know about it. I would say any rugby game for me is so exciting. It's so exciting, you know, you're rooting for this team, and it's so it gets so intense. No, regardless if it's a man or a woman, I know exactly what they're going through, and I know the jitters and that. But like my brother would rather watch the men's, which is obviously more publicised, and they get more views. It was very interesting that they only have 5 games in this season, and you wonder why too.
I think will be why more people do watch the men's is simply the volume. That's also to do with media attention and advertising. They really need to be pushing and showing, look, we have a women's team and they're amazing. Why don't you go and support them? Because I think a lot of us would be really, really keen to see that.
I'd be so keen to go. I'd be so keen to go. Like, it's exciting if you see them. It's crazy what these women can do. It's seriously crazy. Like, they are professional athletes.
Thank you for listening to this podcast episode.
We're brought to you by the University of Canberra's Faculty of Arts and Design. We'll see you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.